Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. This is module number 3. This is Shoshin, which translates to beginner's mind. The reason why I've chosen this as a part of the program and so early on is I believe that this is a really important concept. And the definition of a beginner's mind is an attitude of openness, eagerness, and a lack of preconceptions when studying. So when you think of how this relates to the working world, even relationships, marriage, the more that we could keep an open mind about ourselves, about life, about other people's opinions, perspectives, politics, the more that we can be open-minded, naturally we'll be less judgmental and we'll be more accepting of others. And I think that there is really no way to sort of downplay the importance of this. Now, this is not easy. I work with many people one-on-one, and this is not a concept that just always comes supernaturally or easy to people. A lot of us are born and raised into particular families, cultures, and we get conditioned, even if it's subconsciously, that this is the right way, this is the wrong way. It takes a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion, a lot of practice to keep an open mind. But I think when you talk about it in the context of the working world and our careers, it's incredibly important to be open-minded, right? It leads to more creativity, better communication, you're more understanding of your colleagues, of your customers. And so this, to me, is a really important concept. The book that brought this concept to the mainstream is called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shunryu Suzuki. This book is my Zen Bible. Beyond the books that I talked about in the first module, Zazen, this is the Zen Bible. I have read this book countless times. It's not that thick. You could reread it over and over again. You always catch new things. I tend to think that when I look at books, especially spiritual self-help books, they oftentimes will be long books, deep, intricate, but they really can be boiled down to one concept. And this book is boiled down to the beginner's mind as the full concept. His most famous quote I absolutely love. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are few. So I encourage you to just sit on that for a second or two, but obviously I can speak about that, about what it means to me. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are few. What he's essentially saying is that if you're able to keep a beginner's mind, even until the twilight of your life, there's many possibilities open to you, right? Your life at any moment, if you're open-minded, can go in a direction that positively benefits you, your family, your loved ones. But in the expert's mind, the person who thinks they have all the answers, the know-it-all, there's limited possibilities in life because been there, done that, seen it all, done it all. To me, that's not a healthy attitude. It's not a healthy mindset, and certainly not in alignment with Zen philosophy and principle. The reason why this program was designed this way is because you could see how it could trace all the way back to Zazen. This book, although it's about this concept, it really is about Zazen and the seated meditation. Because as you're sitting there in meditation, you're letting go of thought. You're not fixated, you're not holding on to your beliefs. You're also sensing the interconnectedness of all of life. There's a teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, very famous teacher. We'll be talking about him at some point. Actually, I think his book is a suggested reading in the Introduction to Meditation and Mindfulness. He talks about drinking a cup of tea containing the whole world and the whole universe, because that water in that teacup came from the clouds, where the rain came from, and then the tea comes from the farmers, and they're plowing the fields, and then the tea is coming to you through the grocery store maybe, or a farmer's market. And so even just in that simple act of drinking tea, you're experiencing the whole universe. And so that's really what Zazen is teaching. A beginner's mind is teaching that there is no one definitive yes or no, right or wrong, black or white. It is really hard to pinpoint everything we're experiencing in every moment. And that's why having a beginner's mind is so incredibly important. Some of the problems with people who are closed-minded is they experience limited growth. They oftentimes can have strained relationships. They can miss opportunities because they're closed off to them. There's a resistance to change. Unfortunately, sometimes there's increasing conflict because, as we see with happening with religious wars, it's my side versus your side. I'm right, you're wrong, my way or the highway. So obviously that's going to lead to increasing conflict. And then you have limited adaptability. That's another course that I'm going to be offering, is sort of like the idea of being agile and adaptable. And especially in business, entrepreneurship, life in general, you have to be adaptable. You can't be so fixed that the second that it doesn't go your way, you're completely thrown off. This all goes back again to having a beginner's mindset. Some of the benefits of this kind of attitude and approach is you tend to have increase in learning, increase in knowledge, increase in adaptability, as we just mentioned, enhanced creativity. Believe it or not, the more expensive the world is, the more creative influences you could bring in. And if you're in a creative job or profession, how amazing is that that can enhance your creativity? Improved communication, increased empathy for others, reduction in your judgment, and a cultivation of tolerance for others. So although these are not definitive problems and benefits, you can kind of see, the yin and yang of that and how they contrast each other quite significantly. I personally would rather be on the side of the benefits than the problems. So I encourage you all to buy and read this book and to just contemplate having a beginner's mind. Start small. All of these classes come with a checklist, so you can reference back to them and you can write notes and you can check boxes and say, am I actually doing this in my own life? There's no rush. We want to take our time with this, but you could start planting seeds starting today to have a beginner's mind. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next module.